Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I'm Dan at Tring Shoe Repair and Key Shop. It's actually Halloween today. Ooh, scary. But I haven't got a Halloween video for you. I'm actually just showing you a couple of custom stitching jobs. Keep watching to see what it is. Okay, so once again, welcome back. Now let's talk about the two jobs we've got today. So first we've got these R.M. Williams Chelsea boots. These Chelsea boots have gussets either side, okay? So obviously when gussets wear out, they get loose and they stretch, so we want to put fresh elastic in to tighten it up. However, this customer has a medical condition. He has very big swollen ankles and calves, so he needs this gusset to be custom made to be larger so that it fits his ankle. So we're going to do that. And the second job, we've got these Jeffrey West boots, and there's nothing wrong with them, but we've got these two toggles on each boot, and the customer wants them replacing with this red fabric to just jazz them up a bit, so we're going to make some red toggles. So let's get to it. Here's what you'll need to complete your gusset shoe repair. One worn out gusset, one new gusset material, one large pot of glue, one reel of black cotton thread, one very sharp knife, and of course a piping hot coffee. Okay, so let's get started. Now the first thing we're going to do is cut out the old gusset. So what I'm going to do is just take my knife and start attacking the stitching. Now what we're doing is getting the knife just between the upper and the elastic, and of course there's an upper inner on the inside there, so we need to make sure we don't cut through that. And once I've made a start, I can just about get my finger in there. What I'm going to do is pull the elastic in the upper apart to cause tension, separation tension on the thread. So it's easier to cut and keeps the upper and the elastic separate. Now it's quite important you have a sharp knife, or else this can be a real pig, take a lot longer. Now I'm having a bit of trouble here, and I'll tell you why. It's because this has been repaired already, not by me, and for some reason they finished this top bit with super glue. So unfortunately, when you've got something like this, super glue, you've just got to try and cut it out as best as you can. So there we are, there's the old gusset out, and we're left with a gap, an empty shell of a shoe. So I'm going to keep this old gusset here. I might use it as a template. I'm just going to figure out as I go how I want to make the new piece of elastic, because this job's a bit specific. It needs to be bigger than the actual boot. So let's move on. Okay, so that's all of our gussets out, and I've kept our spare one. Now the way I've decided how to cut our extra large gusset is from just gently letting the uppers sit where it naturally would, because we can tell from the lines of the original shoe, and measuring how wide the gusset should have been. So originally it was 8 centimeters, and we can have a look at our stretched gusset, and it's up to 11 centimeters. So I'm just going to put it right in the middle at 9.5 centimeters, and that should be about right. So I'm just going to start by getting a bit of paper, doing an outline around our old cutout piece. And that's not exactly the size we want it, but it's going to give me a rough idea of what we want, so that I can go and lay this template over our elastic and cut it out neatly. You know, it's a neater way to do this than trying to lay the shoe over our big sheet of elastic. Okay. Okay, just going to cut it out. It's like arts and crafts back in school. Okay, so now we can head over to our elastic and start making our new gusset. So I'm just coming over to our trusty pirate barrel. This is just where I do all the jobs that need a bit more space. So I'm going to take the template, put it in the corner so we don't make any excess. So I'm just going to draw around our rough template on the elastic. Okay, now I've got an outline. I'm going to make a new template using our estimated measurements. Okay, now all we need to do is make the size different side to side because that's where the elastic is stretched. The height can stay the same, or rather it needs to stay the same so that it isn't too short. Okay, so back over to our base of operations. Now we need to glue the new gusset in. I'm just doing one at a time to show you. Now what I didn't tell you because I was just in autopilot is when I've cut out the template and the size, I've left about 8mm of excess around the edge because of course that's the piece that gets glued inside and stitched. So we need that extra. Now that is also going to be the bit we glue. So we get our glue, we're using the same old contact adhesive that we use for the soles. So I'm just going to go around the edge of the elastic.
Hello.
Oh yeah.
Is it the right pain?
No, not at all. Excuse that camera jump. I definitely didn't just have a customer come in. So we're just going to go around the edge. Not getting on the top obviously because that bit's exposed and on show. Now that's going to soak in a bit. So once it's dry I'm going to do a second coat. But for now I'm going to come over to the R.M. Williams boot. Now for now we're just putting glue on the inside of the upper. We'll put glue on this bit later, but for now we just want it on the upper so that it doesn't cause us any issues whilst we're trying to stick the gusset in because it can be quite a fiddly job. God, I just realised how messy my brush is. Come on, man. Have some standards. Anyway, let that dry. And once it's tacky, we'll come back to fit it all together. One thing I didn't mention, which I thought I'd just show you, is the elastic curves a certain direction to match the curvature of the shoe. So obviously, this is the outside, so we want to glue the outside. Okay, so now for the tricky bit, sticking it in. Now when we stick it in, there's obviously going to be some tension pulling on it before we stitch it in permanently with the patcher. So it's important to have enough glue on there and that the glue is dry enough, but not bone dry, so just nice and tacky. Now, the way I like to do this is obviously we need to start, or at least make sure it's lined up at the top. So I like to start from one side and then just spread open the two sides of leather and work our way around from one side to the other. And I think what I'll do is just line up this second side before finishing off the bottom. There we go. I'm just making sure all of the elastic is sitting flat and there's no curves or lumps. Okay, there we are. I'm quite happy with that. So let that dry for a minute and then head over to the patcher. Okay, so now we've made our gusset. We are over at our old Singer patcher where we're going to put it in nice and solid. We need to make sure we've got the right colour thread in the machine, so I'm just going to show you how we do that. Now, whenever we're doing a patching job, we need to make sure that we've got the right colour thread in the machine, for obvious reasons. So we've got the top thread, which goes through a series of levers and pulleys, which I'll show you how to do that in detail another time. And then on the bottom, we've got the bottom thread, which is in a shuttle and a bobbin like that. So I'm just going to thread the bobbin because it's empty. So we just take our thread, pinch it in one side and then wrap it around. Now a lot of machines actually will have a threading spool on the side of it so you can fill this up automatically, and there is one on here to be honest, but like I said, it's 80 years old. There's a part missing, so It doesn't actually work, but I don't mind doing it like this. And then once our bobbin is full of the thread, the right colour we want, we'll put it into our shuttle in just the right way so that the tension's correct. Come on, get in there. Okay. And then the shuttle can pop back in its home. Pop up through the little guide hole. Okay, needle out of the way. And we're ready to stitch. So now that single side is stitched in, I'm just showing you one at a time. I really would have glued all the gussets in at once if I was doing it as quick as possible. But what I'm going to do now is just glue down these remaining inners, and once that's glued down, I'm just going to run a second line of stitching around that. Okay, so now that the inners are all glued in and a second line of stitching's gone around, that is our gusset repair done. So now we can move on to the next job, which was of course these Geoffrey Wests, and we're going to put some fancy red toggles on them. Here's what you'll need for your custom red toggle job. One boot with normal toggles, one length of red fabric, one pot of glue, one sharp knife, and one roll of red cotton. Okay, so let's get to it. So we need to remove the old toggles. So I'm just going to take my knife, actually give it a quick sharpen so it's nice and fresh. I'm just going to take my knife, and what we're going to do is look at cutting the stitches from one side and then the other side. So I'm just going to start on one side of the toggle and just work my way across. There's the street sweeper going past outside. There's one side. Can move to the other. I don't know how easily you can see this. So once we've got most of the stitching cut, there's usually a bit of stitching that's a little deeper, you know, just right the way down to how far the toggle thread goes. So we want to cut through all of that just to release all of the stitches. Oh yeah.
Hello.
How can I help?
Pick up some shoes, you glue in for me. You're making another video.
I am, yeah.
Good, keep it going.
Cheers. Okay, that should be all of the thread, and then our toggle should come out. Now this one's all intact, so we're going to use it as our template for the new toggle. Now to make our new toggle, I've got this fresh red fabric. Now I've selected it that it's already exactly the right width, so we just need to make the length, and it's super easy because we've got this whole toggle, the old toggle, intact. So I'm literally just going to lay it over the new fabric, put a little taut, and then cut it to size. And same as the gussets, we've got about 8mm of excess on the end of each one, because that's the bit that's going to be inside the shoe and stitched in. A customer actually just caught me in the act and asked me if I was filming another video, so that was quite funny. But anyway, so we've got our 4 toggles prepared now and our empty gaps in the uppers of our boots. So now we need to put some adhesive on it, ready to stick it in place. So on our toggles, we're doing the last 8 to 10mm, and we're doing it on both sides. Reason being is side 1 here that I'm gluing, and I'll just show you while there's no glue on it, is obviously going to go together like that to make our loop. And then the glue on the outside is what's going to adhere to the glue on the inside of the boot here. So let's get it all done. Okay, so we'll just let that go tacky for a minute before putting it together. Now that's 3 loops together. I'm just putting the final one together. Just line it up. Won't worry about that little bit of thread. Okay, and now they're ready to go in. So we take our shoe with its open gap, and the trick is to get the toggle in as deep as possible before the glue starts to stick. So otherwise it can get a bit of a mess and it can get wonky. Although we don't want to put it in any deeper than the 8 to 10 mil that we've allocated to be the anchor point. Alright, so just stick it to one side and then bring the upper in flush with it. Now you have to get the glue just right, because if it's too wet it won't stick together and close, and if it's too dry it won't stick together. I think these are going to look pretty cool when they're done. So now that our toggles are securely in place, same as the gussets, we head over to the patcher and secure them in. Okay, here at the patcher again. Now, I did say that we needed red thread, obviously because we're using red toggles, but I was wrong. I was talking out of my backside. We want brown thread. Reason being is, if we have a look, the stitching that we're doing, the stitching is going to be on top of the brown upper, so you know, the red wouldn't be the end of the world because it would match the contrast, but we want it to blend in, so I'm going to put brown thread in the machine. Okay, my friends, that is the video. So we finished our cheeky red toggles, and hey, I match my shirt, and our extra large gussets. Now, got to love you and leave you here in the UK. We've just gone into another COVID lockdown, so I may well be closing. I'm sure I'll still be able to get around and make some videos for you during that time. So, you know, take the rough with the smooth. But if you're new to the channel, thanks for checking it out. Subscribe. I do new videos every week. If you made it all the way to the end, hit like, and thanks for watching.